I guess you don't matter. That's what when the seating chart went up, my sister said me outside by the garbage cans. The hallway smelled strongly of bleach and flowers. I could hear the DJ's voice inside. It's time for the first dance. My mother put her pearls where they belong. My dad looked away. I kept the gift for longer. The night before, it was wrapped up and straightened out. I chose a wine-colored outfit. Calm. Don't cry or fight. I got up. They got up and went outside in Vermont. The lights went out after 5 minutes. A scream that broke the silence split the room in half. This is what happened next. The Vermont. The air was cool that morning, like it smells like pine and money. Leia's sister picked the lockside. The resort is known for its European style, a place where people only took pictures to let them know they were asked. The hall had a view of the ocean and was decorated with candles and flowers floating in clear glass bowls. Every table inside glowed in the light of the chandeliers. Mine, it looks like they were outside by the trash cans. I went up to Boston by myself for 3 hours. I thought about the last text my mom sent me. Amber, please don't get into trouble today. It's Leia's day is today. That was all I ever was to her. A sign that tells and warns. Stop talking. Don't take up space. Don't tell anyone else about it, daughter. We were just like other kids when we were kids. The golden in family photos, the child, and the calm person. Leia had things like ribbons for awards. I got my grades. Nobody looked. She would cry and get saved. Nobody would notice if I made things better. My mom said I was simple. My dad said was free. They both meant the same thing. It was helpful to be unseen. The last time I saw them all was 3 years ago on Thanksgiving. I remember the house smells like burnt pie crust and cleaner with lemon. Leia did things with her new boyfriend, and this time the air was clear. It felt light. My mom told me to get an older picture book from her vanity drawer. I found her small brown. The edges are soft because it has been used for a long time. I looked through it because I was interested until I discovered that all of the pages started the same way. Leia went to school for the first time, Leia's favorite lunch at college. That's fine with me. Not a word about me, it's not my birthday or name. When my mom smiled like it was funny, right? Question. You didn't need the pay attention, honey. You were always fine. That night I found out that there are two. There are 2 ways to get lost. Taken out. That book came to mind as, this time, I walked in heels toward the hall, making noise with the pebble. Out the window, I could see them taking pictures through the doors. Hey, Mom, Dad, having his champagne silk hair straightened Leia and Ty look great in white. She backwards. They smiled when they saw me. The same way people smile at cashiers, they won't remember. The person in charge, I didn't expect her clipboard to catch me off guard. Miss, are you Hayes? She asked. Yes. Her nice smile went away when she saw me. Name. You are on the list for seats. In the hall. I laughed while I waited for her to get ready, herself, but she didn't. There are places to sit in the hall. Next to the trash cans. I went after her. Point your finger at the little table that folds up by the doors to get to work. I could do that from there. See every twinkle in the hall, every laugh. But there was a wall between us, both in a physical and a figurative sense. I put a little silver gift on the table. I had spent hours picking out the wrapped gift and looked out the window. Outside, Leia raised her glass to take a shot. Mom is getting ready to wear her veil. I sat outside with the cold wind and said to myself that for years, I had been telling the same lie. It's okay, they aren't necessary. But the truth was still in pushing on my chest hard. I didn't need them. But they couldn't do whatever they wanted. Please ignore me. I tried to vanish like always, but the hall was loud. People came and went during the service. Door, pushing bags of ice that were melting, laughing quietly. Whenever I saw bits of it when it opened, the chandeliers in the hall sparkled, and the clothes putting Leia's hand on my mom's, it looked like a crown of praise on his shoulder. Then the laughs were different. I looked up and saw Leia coming toward me with a bunch of flowers, one hand and the veil following her like smoke. She stopped right before she could see herself twice as clearly in the opening. Glass. I loved both sides of her, inside, and one that is mean on the outside. Okay, she said as she tilted her head to the side. It seems like you finally found your place. Eyes spreading out. What does that mean? I knew that smile she gave me since she was young. The one she had used before getting people's attention. I don't think so, Count. The words were so soft that Du almost forgot how sharp they are. Try to guess, you don't mean anything. It was like math. Like I messed up. I was quiet for a moment. My throat dried out. Kinds of dryness that happened because they were too proud. Behind when the photographer spoke to his wife, she said to him, "We need you back in the picture." Didn't change. Someone asked me to do something about she had to cry to make her point clear. Not me. I looked at her for a little while. To move, smile. Do you remember what I told you? There has always been room for both of us. You are the one who taking it away. She blinked. Oh, Amber, come on. It's not just about you. This is my day. At least for once, try to be happy. I let go. A small laugh like a crack is letting air out. You made sure I couldn't even be in the same room with them. What makes me really happy? To get to the mask came off for a second. What I saw, maybe a moment of fear. Next, she stood up straight and lifted her chin. You make changes all the time. Mom might have been. Yes, that's right. You make things hard, Mom. I didn't mean for the name to hurt me so much, too. It reminded me of the book with the brown cover. Laya's work is on every page again. Life and none of mine. I told you it would be hard. You don't like that I know what's going on. She made a face. You sound like you look sad and angry, Dad. Yes, it's true. Hazel. You don't have to say anything. No, not now and not ever. After she turned around, she walked away, leaving behind a trail of anger and smell. I saw her leave in her white dress. When you touch the floor, you feel the same. My eyes feel like they're on fire. But this time it didn't hurt as much. It hurt more clean. When the back door shut, I took the little silver box after she left, from the desk. The present I picked the night before, when everything was calm and peaceful. I drew the line once, but then I slipped. Now it's in my bag. If they didn't want me, okay, come in. I wasn't going to go, though, not having anything. Not at this time. To get it for a while, I sat there with my fingers crossed, against the smooth side of the box, not being able to hear the music's beat pouring out of the hall's doors. It was supposed to be their first dance. A lovely picture. I thought of Mom cleaning Laya's dad cheering in a strange way and crying. Having fun with the cheers, the same thing happened I had seen everything in my life. But the sides were cut off. I slowly got up. I could see my own reflection in the glass, still calm and maybe even graceful if you didn't care. The bag felt like it had something heavy in it. It has to. I had wrapped it up very carefully, putting the string together the night before, not loose enough. It wasn't just a now. It was proof that could ruin the picture Laya painted truths. I had met one of them 3 weeks before, friends from work in Boston. A safe thing, someone told the truth at lunch. Leia talked about it a lot for months. How easy it was to marry rich. She has to make Noah believe her. He's nice, she said, but they didn't get it. A few fake tears and I get the last house, the money, and name. She laughed. My coffee is gone. I didn't plan for it to be cold, up to this point. Before you go, I went back into the hallway. There is a table for the reception near the hall. Someone made plans for the wedding. I was getting sidetracked by the decorations. Put the little silver box in the middle of the extra gifts at the top of the list marked for Noah and Laya. It was nice and planned. In on top of a message was folded and put in a frame made of crystal. The words her coworker wrote down showed me pictures and bills. It was the truth, not a threat. I moved. I looked at myself one last time before I left. Moment and I fixed my clothes. The whole time my heart wasn't racing. It was calm, in a weird way. I went to the door after going around. I heard a lot of noise when it got dark in Vermont. The lake shone under the cold air. The lights and mirror were no longer useful to me. You could hear the soft sound of clapping. People behind me cheered for AI. Couldn't take it anymore when I saw the dance. I didn't feel anything for the first time in years, not much. I didn't think anyone could see me. I heard something crunch when I got to the parking lot. It feels like there is gravel under my feet. There's nothing big or sad to say goodbye to. When the door of the car closed, it was quiet. I turned around and looked back once the engine started. Look at the bright windows and the dark shadows, being talked to while moving behind glass. I told myself, let the truth find its way. People were still having fun in the hall, was above the music. A saxophone player hit a soft note. The glasses clinked. The crowd moved closer to the couple. Laya stood out on the dance floor, a thick white dress, the picture of she had been working on it for months to get it right. Noah spun her, around 3 times. Lightning strikes that turn everything into gold. You can see outside through the big windows. It looked like a snowball. That had been closed. Not real, just right. Then the silver box opened. It happened close to the gift table. A cousin got the adding bows and ribbons to gifts. Let's get them, someone said. Won an unplanned show called Open for the guests. Laya laughed and turned away. When I took off the ribbon, the paper fell. The lid came off, and inside was the crystal frame that was bent in half with the... She stopped and put her hand up. What is this? Busa bent down, and the note fell off and hit the table hard, saw the screenshots before she... He frowned and looked around. The words were in light blue. Bubbles. One thing stood out. He's easy to work with. And if you cry a little, he'll buy you something. Everything I need. The song had to stop. It got even thinner right away. The guitarist fell and missed a note. Ella's hands were shaking. This isn't. Someone is trying to get in touch with Noah and wants him to answer. He kept turning the leaves. Every line was worse than the one before it. To get him to sign the deal first. Putting Mom and Dad in the guest house after he gets used to it. The same grin it stuck on the phone she gave me hours ago. He asked, "Who sent her?" And his voice shook. She asked in a low voice, "This?" Her husband's mother, Victoria, had been looking from the other side. The space. As soon as she heard the name Amber, I heard Hayes tell one of the girls. Her face got hard. She walked slowly across the floor. Someone who knows they are in charge. First, I think you should read the rest. Don't blame anyone, she said. These came sent to me this morning from the stylist you hired. They seem to have been this is the wrong thread. Hila's face turned pale, colored. It's not going to happen. Noah's, the voice wasn't very loud. Laya, it's true. The days are all the same. The last page was turned. A picture of the message she sent. The house is going to be mine by the end of the year. Everyone gasped, went through the guests. The phones came. Learn. The shooter stopped in the middle of the picture. They said, "Oh my God," but not very loudly, hurried to get the papers. You can't show people that Victoria got in the way if you were the one who showed them. When I said, "Sweetheart," I started to yell. It wasn't loud at first. More like too much air leaving the body too quickly. Fell over the train of her dress. She caught her heel and said, "No, you don't." That makes sense. He's lying. She's my sister. When she did that, Noah's jaw got tight. It was Ambar who sent those texts, not her. Put them in the ground. She wants what you have. Stop was always the word that broke, like a whip going through the room. You made her look bad today. And you thought no one would ever know who you are. Everyone looked at. The DJ turned the music down now. The child's voice said, "Mom, what's going on?" Laya had a great day. She couldn't handle it. They weren't together anymore. She turned to face her. "People, do something!" My mom, Maggie, looked pale and stiff next to she had a champagne glass in her hand at the head table. He shook while looking at the floor, lips pressed together. For once, neither Noah said you knew she was fighting for her. You knew it was soft and that his voice was shaking. What did you do? He took a folded piece of paper out of his coat, put a piece of paper on the table. Is a request to end the marriage. I signed it. Laya looked at the paper like, you can't do that, Noah. It was a live wire. This isn't how I feel. You put yourself down when he said he was making fun of you. You were heard. The music stopped. No one in the room was talking anymore. It was so deep that people could hear it buzzing. There was a sound that the guests would don't forget, that the gem broke when the frame broke. And her voice stopped. That's her behind all of these bars. She took a deep breath and said, "That's funny. Your sister just told the truth." I had stopped by the car engine outside. The light from the hall isn't moving. There was a flash in a window across the lake. I heard some of what they said, but not all of it. The scream was loud and clear, echoes across the sea, and then hearing a chair fall over and over again. I had been waiting my whole life to hear that noise. Not to be rude, but to end things. Inwila's mascara fell off her lips. "You'll regret doing this." She yelled and screamed. Noah turned away and his shoulders shook. A lot. "Laya, no, you'll do it." He went away. Victoria was behind her on the dance floor, the crowd moving away from them like a mom took Isla's arm. "Let's take a step, sweetheart." Outside, she yelled, "Don't touch me." "You all wanted to be free. She didn't love me enough." Dad spoke softly, and she began to cry. That night, for the first time, say you're sorry to your sister. Everyone, even Mom, was shocked by the words. Laya's laugh was so weak that it tell her you're sorry. It didn't hurt her eyes. Dad shook his head. He shook his head softly to say, "That's not right. He left and..." Didn't say anything else. He followed with his shoulders drooping. People going away from the crowd. The workers started when the lights went out, getting rid of broken glass on the floor. Laya was the only one who sat under the lantern. The clothes used to be bright, but now they look heavy. The flowers were wrinkled and had fallen next to the hands that had they pulled me away, but they were holding air now, to have something to hold on to. They never looked at me because I was gone. I could see through the car's fogged-up window. When people hurried to get to the parking lot, people talk about them and pay a lot of attention to them. Did you see that? It's already on every social network. Look at his face. That poor girl? No, the other sister. I didn't feel like it. There was silence after the win, the wheel and thought about the hall, the smell of lies and chlorine, the chair that made a noise and folded up when I used it. It all started with a spot by the trash cans. How it all ended with the everyone who saw what actually happened saw it, have always been able to see through me, didn't always make a sound. They said, "Now they can see you." The scream was lost in the dark. The lake was once more as calm as glass. It was quiet. I turned on the headlights with the key, washed away dirt, and drove away from the clear sound of my sister's world tripping behind me. When I got to, it was starting to rain. Gray. The road signs became less clear as the steady, low hum of the tires. I heard white noise after years of yelling. I learned not to pay attention when my phone rang, always in the cup case. 16 missed. Mom called 4 times, and Dad called 3 times. A number I didn't know. Any of them will work. The peace was worth it, more than just answers. It had a smell like it was coffee time and it was raining. The city outside the sound of headlights on my car woke me up. I put my dress on the back of I sat down and looked at the dark wine. The color stays perfect and doesn't change when the night. I had never seen that kind of equipment before. I forgot I had it on. A new note came out. "Please answer, Amber." We didn't. We had no idea. That was my mom. She always said that, in the end. When things went wrong, I didn't know anything. But she did. She always told me to stay. She laughed at Ila's jokes or said, "You're funny," every time. Made her laugh every time she said it. Okay. I hung up the phone on the I would have if I had opened the counter. There were a lot of dots on the map of Maine that I looked at. There are little towns along the coast. I chose one. I clicked on something I had never seen before. Book. What would a week by the water be like? Don't worry. I went outside before I left, on the deck outside. The air in the city smelled bad. It was the cleanest it had been in years. All over, the rising sun cut through the sky above the river, changes from dark to gold. They could hold on to their apologies, their reasons. They have different ideas about what the truth is. I had mine right now. For the first time in my life, being quiet didn't mean that people couldn't see you. It meant being free. At my sister's house at the wedding, I sat next to the trash cans. I'm sitting by the river this morning. The quiet is the same, but it means something else. Going back, then came the shame. It's quiet now. Sometimes the loudest payback isn't a yell, scream, it's your own voice. There were steps that led out of the room. They thought I would always wait for them to, that's fine with me. But I'm not going to wait any longer. I don't ask someone to let you stay with them. Table. I make my own. If you've ever been pushed away by the people who were, this is what they should do. Love you. Going for a walk leaving doesn't mean you're weak.